Hello, I'm Hans Parchment. You're watching Tallawah TV with Crystal Davis.
I think the uniqueness of the Reggae Girls is they embody the national motto of Jamaica, which is out of many one people. So when you look at the entirety of the Jamaica squad, you have dark-skinned girls, mixed-race girls, girls who have black and Asian in them. You also have the homegrown players, so like your Bunny Shaw, your Konya Plummer, your Den Blackwood. So what that means in terms of from a grassroots perspective is girls who are born in Jamaica can look at a Bunny Shaw and hear that authentic accent and say, you know, if Bunny can make it, then so can I. Once you hear that authenticity, that raw Jamaican accent, they should be able to look at a Bunny Shaw who's now a captain to say, if Bunny can do it, especially if you come from the same community, the same parish as her, if she can do it, then so can we.
It's great to be here. I know that you're probably the biggest supporters of the Reggae Girls. So what you do and the message that you spread for the girls, it's really appreciated.
Crystal, I gotta give it to her. I've heard a lot of guys say she's the reason why they start off to watch female football. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm pushing her out there to keep on doing your thing. Don't get discouraged. You have a band of brothers behind you. And what we try to do is to get female who think like you know, in the game. Right, Siobhan?
Yeah,
so enough respect to you, Crystal, and keep fighting.
Yeah, because as you mentioned, a lot of persons, because I think the Reggae Girls has been the most successful team in our football, and I think a lot of that was underrated. So what you've done for the local aspect of Jamaicans, you've brought that sense of admiration to the persons know that, hey, it's not just the boys, the females as well. The females have the love as well. And honestly, if it wasn't for someone like you, Crystal, the YouTube space would just be crowded with the Reggae Boys.
Yeah.
It's not about tactics, it's not about midfield, it's about a reaction, mentality, to bounce back, show resilience, and get a result.
Struggling, it's just not making sense. It's not making sense. I kind of feel like you're preparing us for disaster. Again, it's not about tactics, and then you're talking about discipline. But for you, how do you execute discipline without tactics? I don't really understand that. Like, how does one execute discipline without referring to the tactics as in the game plan? It's not really making sense. There goes the optimism.
My Tallawahs, how are you all? Good afternoon, good evening, possibly good morning. All depends on where you are in the world. Welcome back to another live stream. Do get friendly with that like button. If you've not hit the like button, what are you doing on? Soon as you jump onto the live stream, if you're watching on repeat, watching this one back on playback, please do go ahead and show me some love. Respect my time. It is what 11:15 p.m. Do respect my time and my efforts, and just kind of hit the like button. It's not going to cost you a penny. It will not break your pockets. Please do go ahead and hit that like button. Also, let me know how you're doing in the comment section. Let me know how your weekend went. I hope you had a good weekend. I hope you've had a solid start to the week. Hopefully my content for tonight can lift up the mood a bit. I think I'm looking at some mood lifters as it relates to these transfer talks. Definitely help to lift my mood, so I'm hoping it will do the same with you guys there in the comment section. So quite similar to the last live stream I did, which I think, judging by your feedback and your interaction on the live stream and also at the end of the live stream, so if you watched it back on replay, I think it's safe to say that that one went down well. So I'm going to just see what works best for you and I, and that seemed to have been a good piece of content for you guys. So I'm going to give you guys a continuation of that. All right, so on tonight's live stream, we'll be looking at more transfer talk. We'll be doing something quite similar to the last live stream. So, you know, looking at the latest moves there where the Reggae Boys and Reggae Girls are concerned. We'll be analyzing the good and potentially the bad for both clubs and players. You know how it goes by now. Let me know if you believe that this is a good move or a bad deal, be it now in the comment section as we go along with the live stream, or potentially when you're watching it back on replay. Nevertheless, do let me know. Your feedback is important to me. It will help me to reshape or potentially possibly even restructure my content creation for you guys. So your feedback and your engagement is absolutely pivotal to the growth and development of my channel. Okay, so let's just see. I've got a comment there in the comment section. DNA Football, big ups to DNA Football. Do make sure that you like and subscribe to DNA Football for all things in relation to the Reggae Boys and also the Reggae Girls. I'm not bad. I am okay. I'm not bad. I've been enjoying the transfers there, the done deals as they came across. I think the first transfer came through around maybe 10 a.m. or 10 a.m. UK time, that is. And that one there, I'm going to talk about that one in a few, but that one definitely good way to start my Monday morning. I know Mondays are usually a bit of a tough start to the week, but like I said, I'm hoping my transfer talks for tonight with the Reggae Boys and Reggae Girls are concerned. Hopefully they are mood lifters. So if you support any team in the, or I should say any club across the WSL where those London clubs are concerned, maybe it's the red half of North London or the blue half of West London, maybe you are in good mood. And if you're not in a good mood, then hopefully I can lift your mood for you. So first, I think we should start things off by looking at one of our Reggae Boys there, because this one is no, I've seen a couple of you guys asking, you know, what's going on, and I've been trying to do my own deep dive in and read as many reports as I can. Disappointingly, there isn't a lot of information out there on this particular player, but I've gone with what I think is the best bit of information there that should keep us on the same page for the time being, because we're fully in the swing of the summer transfer window. So I'm going to share a few reports there that I think should pique your interest. And if you want to continue with the reading of those reports in your own time, you're more than welcome to do so. So let's just go ahead and bring up some information there on the screen in front of you. And you guys can let me know how you're feeling as it relates to whether or not this is a good deal or a bad move. So let's see. Let's go ahead and bring the first one up there on the screen for you. You should be able to see this one, but if in case you can't see it, don't worry. I have got you covered. I think you're probably at the top of my screen. Okay, no, you're not. So this one here is taken from the Shields Gazette. So if you want to go ahead and read this in your own time, you are more than welcome to. And I've actually gone ahead. It's not a lengthy read, but the paragraphs before is pretty much irrelevant. Maybe you guys want to see glimpses of the paragraphs, so I'll go ahead and show you how it looks. Not that it holds any relevance to our topic of conversation, but maybe you might be feeling like you want to know what's going on. And obviously, we're focusing on Newcastle United and Isaac Hayden. I did go ahead and highlight the bit that I think is the most important part of the article for us for obvious reasons. Makes it easier for me to locate it when needs be. So this one here says, headline, Isaac Hayden. Hayden is still contracted to the club being Newcastle United, but has no role to play. He spent the second half of last season on loan at Portsmouth and will be keen to get regular first team football again next season to force himself into Steve McLaren's thinking for the Jamaican national team, especially if the Reggae Boys qualify for next summer's FIFA World Cup. I will say that I don't think there'll be any force, because Steve McLaren's been quite, shall we say, transparent with regards to how he views Isaac Hayden. I don't think there needs to be any force in there. He did, if memory serves me well, I think he said words to the effect of him, Isaac Hayden, being the glue to the team. Like he echoed his importance there in one of the, I think, pre-match press conference as it relates to the Gold Cup, which concluded on Sunday. Congratulations to Mexico. So I don't think Isaac Hayden needs to do much of a force to make his way into a call-up, a World Cup qualifier call-up there where the Reggae Boys are concerned. I still do scratch my head every now and then as it relates to Jamaica football, both where the men's team and the women's team is concerned, because I don't know what warrants or merits a player to a call-up. I would always say playtime at your club is essential, but these coaches, they seem to just do things in a unique way. way, to put it politely. So as things stand, he's clearly there. I am assuming, based on the reports out there that's available to us, that Hayden is trying to secure a move away from Newcastle United. So let's go ahead and look at another article there for you guys before I share my good move or bad deal. I'm gonna leave you guys to decide whether it's a good move or bad deal. So let's just work with what we've got. Another bit of reading here for you guys. And don't worry, I'll do the reading. This one here is taken from Pumpy News. I do hope that you guys can see this one on the screen in front of you. And as I said, don't worry about the reading. I've got you covered. Headline says, Isaac Hayden available for transfer back to Portsmouth after Newcastle updates. So it does say here, Portsmouth are still in the hunt for central midfielders after 2 loan signings returned to their parent clubs. So one of those loan signings is Isaac Hayden returning to his parent club, Newcastle United. It does say here, Freddie Potts and Isaac Hayden were mainstays in the Poppy midfield last season, but it's thought there would be a little chance of either returning to Fratton Park after their loan spells ended. However, the door for Isaac Hayden to return may now have opened. Also says here in the article, Hayden transfer listed by Newcastle United. Hayden has been at Newcastle since 2016 and has made 171 appearances for the Magpies. However, the Jamaican international hasn't been picked since 2020-21. He was sent out on loan to Queen's Park Rangers in 2023-2024 season to Portsmouth last season's campaign. Now, the Athletic reports that Newcastle have transfer listed the midfielder with the hopes of pushing through a sale this summer. So he could be an option to play a starring role in Portsmouth's midfield next season. Hayden is likely to want a move, particularly as he has aspirations to represent Jamaica at the 2026 World Cup. For confusion, we've not qualified yet. I'm going to say yet. I'm hoping that the lads do qualify for their first FIFA Men's World Cup since 1998. Best of luck to the lads when that moment spring upon us. Does continue here by saying he'll need to be a regular starter to guarantee that. Again, maybe they've not been following the Reggae Boyz in great lengths, a bit like you and I, you guys there in the comment section. But again, going based off what we've heard Steve McLaren echo in those Gold Cup press conferences there as it relates to Isaac Hayden, I don't really think it's going to be much of a challenge for him to regain his spot in the starting 11 or even the team. Let me know if you guys think differently to myself. So the rest of the article says, however, it has been reported that wage demands have prevented him from finding a new club in the past. Several hurdles could prevent Hayden returning to Portsmouth. It says here Hayden has spoken highly of his time at Portsmouth, but there are several hurdles that may prevent his return to Fratton Park. I believe this one here is about 3 to 4 days old. So this article is about 3 to 4 days old, and we are in the swing of the summer transfer window, so things can change rapidly. So take this one with a pinch of salt, because there should be potentially some more progress since this article was produced. Okay. In the rest of the article, it does say here, first off, he has a year left on his Newcastle contract, so a transfer fee would be involved to acquire him this summer. Pompey have money available to spend on midfielders, as proven by their pursuit of players like 2.5 million rated Pele Matson, but that's not clear whether they would want to invest significant funds into a 30-year-old. With that said, Hayden was popular among Portsmouth fans and his capture could be seen as a good investment. So that is all the bits there that is relevant as it relates to Isaac Hayden. So I'm going to be giving you guys my thoughts. And of course, do make yourselves known in the comment section and let me know what you make of what's been said so far. So where do we start? Is this one a good move or a bad deal? Let me know in the comment section. So it's quite obvious, isn't it? Back with Newcastle United, his parent club, after wrapping up his loan loan there with Portsmouth. And so that's just regular process in terms of the procedure that is, it's a contractual, he's contractually obligated to do so, in terms of going back to his parent club, because it's the club that he played for last season obviously didn't sign him on a permanent basis. So contractual obligation to go back to Newcastle United, and it is a short term I can't say move because it is his parent club, but it is I should say it's a short-term decision, with the hopes of seeking to find a resolution. And clearly, judging by the stuff that's said in that article there, Portsmouth would be delighted to sign him on a permanent basis. And it is clear, I think no one needs to tell us, it is clear that there is no future there for, unless there's going to be a miracle, there is no future there for Isaac Hayden and Newcastle United. Another thing that I picked up on when I was doing some further, wider reading as it relates to Isaac Hayden. Remember this article here, you guys probably remember this one. This one is almost 2 years old. It does say fans voice, and it's one that kind of does make me chuckle a little bit, because one day they love you, the tomorrow they don't really care about you. The key bit from this article here, this one's taken from BBC Sports. It does mention Isaac Hayden. If I can just find the information there, it says who needs to move on. Says here, we have a few players that are surplus to requirements. Ryan Fraser has been banished from the first team and has been training with the U21s for over 6 months. Isaac Hayden and Jeff Hendrick have no future at the club either. So there, I'll highlight that one in blue there for you guys before I continue with the rest of my thoughts. Again, do let me know if you think this is a good move or a bad deal. And then there is that fitness assessment. Naturally, when you go back to your parent club, or even as it is the summer transfer window, you're going to be going through those fitness assessments. No different to a new sign-in. There's probably just different procedures that you have to go through, but they have to look at your fitness level. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I do need you guys to correct me on this one, but I think I might have heard Oragafa McLaren saying that he was sent home to do with injuries. Is that what he said? Do remind me, because I for the love of God, I can't remember. So while he isn't expected to play any first team football, judging by the articles there in front of you, especially that line there that is highlighted there in front of you, going back to his parent club, I'm sure they're going to be assessing his fitness levels to identify what to do with him in terms of the transfer window. If he is nursing an injury, and then that could potentially make any agreements with a new club be a little bit tricky, because obviously they're not going to want to play, as it said there in the piece there. From which page is this? This is the Portsmouth News, that they're not going to want to spend big, Portsmouth that is, they're not going to want to spend big on a 30-year-old. And if he is nursing an injury, thank you, Conrad, big up yourself. If he is still nursing an injury, they're not going to want to spend much on him, irrespective of his quality. Quality has nothing to do with it. It's just that you're almost putting yourself in on the back seat, or on the back foot, if you were to sign an injured player. I've seen it happen with my club. I don't know why they did it. Sign them. I can probably think of at least 2 players that they've signed that were injured at the time of signing, and I believe one of them was just. So why did you do it? I don't even want to go down that road, but it's never a good sign when your club signs injured players. Terms of the goods there with this one, if I think it's going to be going through like the usual protocols, so like squad numbers, registration, but it's not really one to get carried away with, because again, I think that's just your normal, your normal protocols, and it is one that is temporary, because I think we've heard this more than enough times to know that, politely, to put it politely, you don't have a future with Newcastle United unless there is some sort of a miracle. So he is on the club's like official squad list, but it's probably until a permanent move is finalized before they usher things on. So I think that in itself is more of an administrative point rather than to do with him potentially playing for Newcastle again. Don't get too carried away with the squad numbers and the registration. I think that's all temporary given the circumstances. Now, in terms of the other side of the conversation, again, I've said it more than enough times. Is this a bad deal? As I said, he doesn't have a future with Newcastle United. That's the most significant bad reason for him being there. There's no future at the club, as reported by various sources. So I think, in case I haven't said this already, this one reminds me of the disloyal from fans and also clubs. You're only an asset. I think someone like Isaac Hayden is a reminder that, as it relates to the fans and the clubs, you are only an asset until a new shiny toy becomes available. Because it does say here, let me just scroll up. It does say here, how will the 2023-2024 season go for Newcastle? And it says here in black and white, fans' voices. So this is some opinions there taken from the fans. And I don't know, if I was him, if I were Isaac Hayden, I'd probably be a little bit hurt by what was said, in relation to club and the fans alike. And being back at Newcastle United, obviously unlikely to get playing time, unless there's going to be a miracle. We all follow the English Premier League. We know about Newcastle, especially where their midfield's concerned. They are pretty stacked. You've got a couple of players there like your Joe Linton, your Sandro, your Bruno, Sean Langstaff, Joe Willock. Who else can I think of? I think those are the names there that springs to mind. So Sean Longstaff, Willock, Bruno, Sandro, and Joe Linton. Let me know if you guys can think of any other names. The point I'm trying to make is those players there are all above him in the pecking order. So even if, let's say, one of those players there that I named were to leave the club, it's likely, taking into consideration this injury there that the Steve McLaren touched on, taking that into consideration, and also his age, I believe he's about 30 years old. Newcastle, we've seen that they are ambitious. The last couple of seasons, we've seen just how ambitious they are, and they've tasted silverware, didn't they? They won the Carabao Cup earlier on in the closing season's campaign, so they're going to want to push on to that. They've tasted Champions League football recently, so they're going to want to, I'm sure the appetite is there. They're lifting silverware, playing in the biggest competition in sports, arguably, the Champions League. So they're going to want to see more of that. And one way to not necessarily guarantee that, but to put yourself in a good position is to strengthen your squad. I'm not really sure that they look at a Isaac Hayden as strengthening their squad. And unfortunately, like so many other players, in terms of fans being very quick, fans and club being very quick to move you on, I think it's safe to say that he's a bit of a forgotten man. He's got that status of being the forgotten man. He's gone out and on loan, and the reports are saying that he's not wanted. So what that means is that he needs to find a new home, somewhere warm and somewhere secure. And I should think the latter is more important than the first. You know, he needs to find somewhere where he's going to be essential to that team, you know, that homely vibe, that an environment that's going to allow him to flourish and accumulate all those important minutes there, because we are in a World Cup qualifying year. The boys are going first, followed by the Reggae Girls. So it is a interesting time for Isaac Hayden. I'm not sure if that was the right thing to say to us, that he is leaving the the competition because of an injury, because obviously if it could be, look, I'm not saying cheat the system or anything, but if you could do a medical and mask your injury, again, I am not saying cheats, but if you could somehow get through a I can't think, a medical without them clocking on to the fact that you're carrying a little bit of an injury there, then surely that works in your boat. So I'm not really sure if that was the right thing to do there by Steve McLaren, but do let me know in the in the comment section. And of course, there is that financial implication there that I touched on. While he's obviously under contract with Newcastle United, he's, as I said, he's a player who quite clearly isn't part of their first team plans. And what that means is the club will be looking for a permanent move for him. Business is business. You were once a valid asset, and now, unfortunately, they've bought themselves a new toy or toys, and their new shiny toys works best for them. They're now their assets. So the financial implication there probably position itself in both camps, the club and the player. I'm sure he'd be eager to try and find a more secure home, something where he's able to, you know, just breathe a little bit, resettle himself, and get going. Because like I said, we're in a World Cup qualifying year with the FIFA Men's World Cup taking place next year. 3 hosted nations, the USA, Mexico, and also Canada. And in terms of that settlement there that I have touched on, surely in terms of if this is a bad deal, look, I'm no player, but surely this position is probably a little bit disruptive for any player, not just Isaac Hayden. You know, I'm sure he wants to, both him and his representative are working hard to just tie up the deals, any deal that comes their way that suits him best as soon as possible. We've seen with other clubs. Sorry, guys. We've seen with other clubs where maybe even our clubs is concerned. I hope he doesn't get treated like this. And this is not me trying to shade Newcastle in any way, but we've seen what happens. Like, football is such a dirty game. We've seen when a club don't want you, we see how they treat you. You know, you go from training with the first team to training with the underage team and so on. You're not allowed to eat with the first team. You're now eating with the younger squad. But hopefully he doesn't experience any of that. So yeah, in terms of the disruption there, the potential disruption, potentially it is there, but hopefully it's not something that is severe. Hopefully it's something that doesn't weigh too heavily on him, and they can just wrap things up and move on. So it isn't a deal that is going to generate momentum, because quite obviously, as it stands, I'm sure he's in some negotiation phase with any potential club. So quite simply, without even knowing the player, I should think that does come with its own disruptive feeling and experience there for the club, more so than for the player, more so than the club. So do let me know, good move or bad deal, as it relates to Isaac Hayden. Do you fancy him returning to Portsmouth, or do you think he should go elsewhere? I think we can chalk Newcastle off the list. I think we can all just say, look, he's not going to be staying at Newcastle United. So let me go ahead and see what you guys are saying there in the comment section. Good evening. You know, this is my favorite player. I did not know that, but that's good to know. Big up yourself there, Mr. Beckford. I'm so special, says Taylor Hinds needs a Jamaican passport. I know that her move is completed. She needs to come to Jamaica and get her passport is faster. I'm going to come back to this in a second. Big up Crystal and everyone in chat. Big up yourself, Conrad. I would love if Portsmouth could buy him. So you're saying that you would like him to make a permanent transfer to Portsmouth because he has no future. Yeah, he has. They've said it more than once. How many times do they need to say it really and truly? And you know what I'm all about? I'm all about going where you're wanted, not where you're tolerated. So hopefully he can go ahead and get this one over the line as a matter of urgency. Steve McLaren never go in detail about it, though. I don't really think it matters. Like I said, I vaguely I wasn't certain, but I do somehow recall him saying that the player had to go home because he's injured alongside Mason Holgate. So again, unless my ears was fooling me, once you kind of put that out there to the public, any club that's interested in him are now looking and saying, okay, here we go, type of thing. Should we look elsewhere? Just little things like that. I mean, I don't do a football business, but I should think if I were to do football business, that's the way that I would be looking at getting business done. Should I look elsewhere, or should I? At the minimum, you're going to want to find out more about the injury. How severe is the injury? When's the comeback date, and so on? Because you're not going to want to sign a player that's going to put you on the back foot, are you? So please do go ahead and hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, please do go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And as we go along, do let me know if you think this is a good move or bad deal. So I guess what we could do is go ahead and talk about, I see Taylor Hinds being discussed in the comment section. So I guess what we could do is talk about Taylor Hinds, right? Says here, now that the move is completed, she needs to come to Jamaica and get her passport. It's faster in Jamaica versus doing it in London. All right, so I can stick a pin in it and we can go ahead and talk about Taylor Hinds. I'm pretty sure you have seen the announcement there. Homecoming. Got 2 homecomings to discuss before I close off on the show. 2 homecomings there for 2 of our players where obviously the black, gold, and green is concerned. So first up, we've got Taylor Hinds. I'm sure you guys can see this one in the comment section. I will go ahead and remove the comment temporarily. I'll bring it back soon, though. I just want you guys to see everything on the screen, right? So you guys should be able to see everything now. So you already know how I'm feeling about this deal. If you know the club I support, I don't really need to say it. I'm sure you can put 2 and 2 together, but I was absolutely delighted when this one was announced, I should say. And my reason for that, it goes beyond football. I don't know how, if you're an Arsenal fan, let me know how you felt about this announcement. Let me know how you feel about the announcement, the return of Taylor Hinds. So for me, there is something incredibly symbolic about Taylor Hinds rejoining Arsenal. And for me, it just feels like it's bigger than the game itself. This is to do with a couple of the issues there that I've spoken about throughout last season's campaign, and maybe even the season before, but most certainly last season's campaign as it relates to Arsenal as a football club. It's like, a part of this announcement and the homecoming of Taylor Hinds. It kind of feels like a part of Arsenal's identity that I cherished has finally returned. Like, as I've said to you guys, I grew up seeing a club that truly celebrated diversity and representation, and that authenticity felt warm and it also felt real. But as we can see with the makeup, excluding the re-signing of Taylor Hinds, if we look at Arsenal, especially last season, I believe they put out a team photo last season and they faced some backlash for that. And you can only use your imagination as to why that is. So as I said, as it relates to the the diversity, especially when we look at the things that happened last season. It kind of felt like part of their uniqueness and their dare I say, their beauty and their character has been softened, something which quite clearly cannot be overlooked. I don't really need to spell it out to you. If you've been watching Arsenal, if you've been watching them for years now, specifically, that they represent a certain type of identity, and they do seem to have lost their way. But that is the reason why the signing, the re-signing, the homecoming of Taylor Hinds just feels so different. Like it's a return there that it hits home. It's a welcome return. I think it's something that the fans have most certainly been crying out for as it relates to our connection with the team. I'm not going to lie to you. I found it quite difficult to support Arsenal, especially on their women's team. And again, it comes back to the lack of diversity and representation. Looking at a team that's all white, that doesn't represent me, it's very difficult to fully support them wholeheartedly. But I think the addition of Taylor Hinds, our very own, a Reggae Girl, has definitely shifted that feeling. So like I said, it's a welcome homecoming. It reminded me of, again, why you started to support Arsenal. I imagine for those little girls and boys there who, are either born in Jamaica or have Jamaican heritage, this is a wonderful moment for them. This is going to make them either support Arsenal or better their support of Arsenal, because now they have someone that they can really cheer on, a bit like what we used to see of Arsenal back then, And when I talk about the classic Arsenal, I'm talking about the legends, I'm talking about the connections between representation. When I think of Arsenal of yesteryear, the Arsenal of yesteryear, the classic Arsenal, I'm thinking of players like your Rachel Yankee, your Anita Asante, your Alex Scott, your Dan Carter, Leanne Sanderson, those type of players. And it's so disappointing to say that we don't have more of that. Of course, I'm not saying that diversity isn't black and white. That's that's a certainty. Like, it's not black and white, but I always scratch my head to think of, it's just far from the team that I supported, the team that I loved, again, growing up and seeing them play. And it's not as if, in terms of this country definitely has a diversity issue when it comes to black players in particular. I don't really think that's false. Yes, we have players, clubs in the WSL, top tier women's football in England, who have diversity in their squad, and big ups to them. But nevertheless, when you look across the board, and I feel like the lower you get, you can kind of see that diversity issue there. And as I was saying, that's definitely something that needs to be corrected, not just at Arsenal, but just in football in general, where like English football is concerned. But if we took it back to Arsenal and their diversity issue, it's not as if they're not a club that struggles to attract talent. That's what was so head scratching to me. And yes, we can say it's down to the former manager, because managers tend to go for players that they like. Look at Mikel Arteta. He likes to sign Spanish players. He's Spanish. Spaniards signing out Spaniards, so it makes sense. But, and I'm not going to just blame the manager for that, because at the end of the day, there must have been someone at Arsenal on the women's side of things, or where the club is concerned, that signed off on certain things, and signing players that adds to that diversity and uplift or attain your diversity shouldn't be difficult. You only have to look elsewhere. You only have to look to France. You look in the French league, you can see diversity in its numbers. It's right there in front of you. You look at Lyon, you can look at PSG. It's not that difficult to sign players that supports your diversity. Like, they're a club in North London. How can you be a all-white team? That never sat well with me, and I'm so glad that they've gone out there and they've signed a player that resonates well with us, where our fan base is concerned, and most definitely where the black, gold, and green is concerned. And I think this signing here for Taylor Hinds homecoming back to Arsenal, it's a continuation there of Reggae Girlz representation. And this is again one of the reasons why we some of the people love Arsenal. You know, we've seen it before. It's not the first time that they've signed a player there that's eligible to represent Jamaica. We've seen it from the academy through to the first team. You know, players like your Paige Bailey Gale, Vian Sampson, Jade Bailey, and also Rebecca Spencer. So this is one of the reasons why it's just that you support this club, and they lost their way. But I'm not going to keep beating them, because at least we now have a reggae girl playing for the red and white of Arsenal, red and white of North London. So I think that's enough talking for myself. Let's go ahead and look at that club announcement there. Hopefully you guys can see it in the comments section. It does say here, Taylor Hinds returns to Arsenal. Says here, we're delighted to announce the signing of Jamaica international Taylor Hinds on a permanent deal. The 26-year-old fullback returns to us for her second spell at Arsenal following the expiry of her contract with Liverpool. Taylor's Arsenal journey began with our academy at the age of 11 in 2010. Over the following 7 seasons, Taylor showed strong progression through our youth ranks, developing into a versatile player capable of playing at fullback and in midfield. One moment there, guys. Let me just change something. Just need to something quickly. Bear with me there, guys. Sorry about that. Let's continue with that. Says here, welcome back, Taylor Hinds. Taylor's break in our first team came in the 2017-2018 season, making her debut from the bench in our 7-0 League Cup win over London Bees in October 2017. A full debut followed in a 5-2 defeat of Millwall Lionesses in the same competition the following month. Taylor joined Everton on a permanent transfer in January 2018. Making 30 appearances and scoring 1 goal across 2.5 seasons with the Toffees before crossing Merseyside to join Liverpool in July 2020. The fullback played an integral role in Liverpool's Women's Championship title in the 2021-2022 season, becoming vice captain in 2023 and helping the team secure 4th place WSL finish in 2023-2024. In total, Taylor made 131 appearances in 5 seasons of Liverpool, scoring 8 goals. Now a Jamaica international, Taylor represented England at youth level and represented England at both the U17s and U20 FIFA World Cups in 2016 and 2018, respectively. She received her first call-up to the Jamaica squad in October 2024, making her debut in a friendly against France later that month. I have to stick a pin in it because it just reminds me of this this comment. There's a comment there as it relates to Taylor Hinds, and yeah, I am happy, but I am also holding my horses. I don't trust Jamaica one bit. I don't know who is in charge of getting this one over the line in terms of making sure that her paperwork and documentation is concerned, but I don't trust you. You've given me enough reason not to trust you. I mean, not too long ago we saw Mimi going over and accepting a call up there where the youth team of the USA is concerned. Again, I definitely didn't understand that one, and I'm glad that she's returned to us, because as I said, you know, the dream, without knowing her, surely the dream is to play for Jamaica alongside her sister. And then recently we've also seen Zoe Matthews link up with the underage group where USA is concerned as well, and we've seen Lexi. These are players who have come into the senior team for Jamaica, but then look elsewhere where, you know, country of birth is concerned, and go down a lower status. You know, we've seen Lexi as well being called to the England underage team. So there's enough examples out there for me to say, you know what, I'm going to support her either way, because she is still Jamaican. But I'm just holding my horses and saying, look, just bring those paperwork and documentation to us, and let's get going. Because I've seen you guys toy with my feelings, toy with my heart more than enough times than you need to. So I'm hoping that those England girls there don't get no funny ideas. Oh, you know, there's more than a handful of them at Arsenal, so don't get no funny ideas, and just keep their paws off her. But yeah, that comment there in the comment section definitely made me laugh when I came across it, because I kind of was thinking the same thing when I was putting this one together. It's like, I'm excited, but I don't really trust Jamaica. But hopefully there's nothing there for us to worry about. So let's continue with the rest of that article there, taken from the Arsenal website. I think we've got some quotes here from Taylor. I can find it. It says here that I'm proud to have signed for Arsenal. I want to push and compete and be winning trophies. She wants to win trophies. She's definitely at the right club, and that's facts. That's not me being biased. And she said this club encompasses all of that, both on and off the pitch. You can see what direction Arsenal is going in, and everyone at the club wants to win. This is a full circle moment for me, and I'm grateful to come back to a place I called home when I was younger. I can't wait to get started and step out on the pitch at the Emirates Stadium in front of all our incredible supporters. Director of Women's Football, Claire Wheatley, said, everybody at Arsenal is thrilled to welcome Taylor back to the club, where she spent several years at the start of her career. She is a player with great quality and vast experience of top-level football, and will be an excellent addition to our group as we aim to compete on multiple fronts next season. And the head coach, Renee, also says, we're delighted to welcome Taylor back to Arsenal. She's a versatile player who has great experience from multiple seasons in the WSL with Liverpool, where she took on a leadership role. I'm excited to get Taylor. I'm so excited. I can't even read properly. I'm excited to get started with Taylor on the training pitch, and I'm sure our supporters will join me in welcoming Taylor back to the club. Got some pictures there that you guys can look through before I go ahead and share my my thoughts on whether this is a good deal, bad move. Pretty sure you know where I'm going to land with this one, but I'm going to let you guys answer that one there in the comment section. All right. But before I move on, let's go ahead and look at some pictures there. It does say here the best pics from Hinds' first day back at Arsenal. I'm hoping you guys can see this. And if you haven't hit the like button, stop being stingy. Go ahead and hit the like button. So the new number 24, the most successful women's club in Britain, 2 times Champions League winner. No other club in Britain can say that. haven't even won one, let alone two. So let's go ahead and look at Taylor Hinds's pictures. I'm gonna scroll through this one before giving you guys my opinion on the good move, bad deal. Hopefully you guys can answer that one in the comment section for me. Apparently this thing here is honey. Not really sure why. I don't know if that's for sponsorship reasons, but it's honey apparently. So I think we can maybe stick a pin in it. Should I just leave it there for you guys? Just stick a pin in it right there. Please do go ahead and hit the like button. I've been speaking with you guys for almost an hour. So I am using my time with you guys, and I do hope that you appreciate it. So where do we start in terms of let's bring back up my headline. Good moves, bad deal. Do answer this one in the comment section. I can't stop smiling because I am so happy. I'm sure you guys have figured that one out already. So to echo some of the stuff there that was said in the announcements in terms of the club announcement, that is just to reiterate some of the stuff there that was said. She's obviously returning. It's a homecoming returning. So what that means is she's returning to her roots quite clearly. Came through the Arsenal Academy, and it's as they said in black and white on the club's website, it's a full circle moment there in her career. And she's joining Arsenal, where she's joining one of the most successful clubs in world football there, not just in where men's football is concerned, but obviously where women's football is also concerned. No other club in Britain's more successful than them. I've already spoken to you guys about their illustrious trophy cabinet, and don't worry, any excuse I have to look at that trophy cabinet, or believe me, we're going to be looking at it. Don't you worry about that. So you know, she's joining a club there with top honors to their names, you know, honors that no other British club has won, and we're going to be looking at that in a short while, you know, including obviously the WSL title and the Champions League. So no disrespect to Liverpool, her former club, but this puts her in a higher chance of winning major honors than it, you know, if she were to stay at Liverpool. It's not about being biased. It's just the facts speak for themselves. How does this benefit us and the player? Pending that we get those passport and documentation over the line. Someone get on your bike, please. There is obviously going to be increased competitiveness and exposure where the player is concerned. As I said, you know, Arsenal are one of the leading forces there in women's football, known for their high standards from decades upon decades. If you check your facts, some of your favorite footballers there, where like particularly where English football is concerned, they have come through that Arsenal academy. So she would have been reminded, and no doubt she will be playing with teammates of the highest standard. She's going to be playing week in, week out with some world-class players, and that can only help to benefit her game. You know, no doubt it will help to push her to improve her all-round game, because as wonderful of a player that she is, there's, as they say, there's always room for improvements. And in terms of the exposure there, I'm sure there's going to be even more media attention on her. She's moving to the Emirates Stadium, and I don't think we need to talk about the Emirates Stadium and what we've seen in its backing of women's football. But while we are on the topic, why not go ahead and give ourselves a friendly little reminder of what's going to be happening at the Emirates Stadium for our very own Taylor Hinds and Arsenal. Let me stick a pin in it. It does say here, can you guys see that? Yes, you can. It says here, all WSL matches to be played at the Emirates Stadium. We are proud to announce Emirates Stadium will host all 11 Barclays Women's Super League matches in the 2025-2026 season, reaffirming N5 as the main home of Arsenal women. The European champions hosted 9 WSL matches across the 2024-2025 season with an average attendance of 34,110. I think the capacity is 60,000 for the stadium and a high of 56,748 in the 5-0 win against North London rivals Tottenham Hotspurs in February. So we're going to in terms of that exposure there that I touched on, this is another thing that's going to expose her, in the media attention, potentially those sponsorships there, maybe better boot deals. You probably catch the eye of a couple other sponsors there outside of football. They probably see her and want to make her their poster girl, be it for fashion or whatever. Wouldn't be surprised if you see her signing deals with the likes of Burberry, for example, or your, Versace, those fashion brands. I'm sure they'll probably be keeping their eyes on her. Now, aside from that, you have to think about the professional development. The infrastructure at Arsenal is one of the best there is. Another infrastructure there as it relates to training facilities. Tottenham, if you've never been to the Tottenham's training ground, you really are missing out. It is gorgeous. It is a beautiful training ground. Their stadium is beautiful as well. I mean, you can say these things because it's not like it's a lie. It's true. Doesn't really matter if they're a club that I'm not supposed to like. The fact of the matter is they have one of the best training ground in world football, one of the best in the country. Be interesting to see which club has the best training ground, because like I said, I've been privileged to have been at Tottenham Hotspur's training ground and Arsenal's as well, and they're a beautiful training ground. So back to the professional development there. When you're at a club at Arsenal, for their stature, obviously that comes with top tier training facilities, medical support, and you're in a highly professional environment, and this can obviously assist Hinds with a continued development, both as a player and also as a person as well, to help maintain those peak performances. And I'm pretty sure that article, that announcement there from the club website, spoke about leadership. I can't remember if it was the manager Renee or someone else from the club, or maybe both, but nevertheless, even if they didn't say it, we do know that she does come with leadership. She's got that natural leadership experience, and she developed that at her former club at Liverpool. We saw that she became the vice captain at while she was a former player of the Reds, and obviously that meant that she was one of their key leaders within the team. So this experience, I should think, will be invaluable at Arsenal, even if she isn't guaranteed to start week in, week out, because like I said, the competition is fierce. I should think that as she should be able to contribute to the team's culture and also help to mentor those younger girls as well. And then you have to think about the financial benefit. I'm not going to be a nosy Rosie and try to look at people's players' salaries. That's one of the things that I actually don't do. I don't look at players' salaries. It's not really any of my business. But for conversation's sake, I should think that while it's probably, I'm not even sure if it's available, I think it's probably hard to find player salaries where women's football is concerned. But anyways, I'm not particularly interested in that. I think a move back to Arsenal, that homecoming move there, it should come with more of a lucrative contract and a better overall professional salary package than in comparison to her last contract. That's some of the things there that you're going to be negotiating. If she is as good as Arsenal thinks that she is, then they need to put their money where their mouth is. And I'm sure that's a couple of the things there that would have been discussed in those contract negotiations. So is it a bad deal? Let me know in the comment section. The flip side to that is we have to think about those registering of those minutes there. At Liverpool, it's no secret that she was one of their key players. She was a consistent starter, a crucial player, as I said, week in, week out, week in, week in, week out, week in, week out. You know why I struggled saying that? She made over 100 plus appearances there for Liverpool, and at Arsenal with a club, with a team that is highly competitive, filled with international players in its abundance. I think she might initially find herself, or just naturally, not even initially, naturally find herself competing for minutes more so than she would have if she had stayed at Liverpool, right? But that's a gamble, that's a guarantee. If she's better than whoever is in front of her, then perhaps they have something to worry about and not her. While she does obviously come with those versatility there that was mentioned on the club website, it could also mean that for the time being, as she is new to the club, she could potentially mean that she is for the maybe the first period of that settlement period there, that she might be used as a rotational player than a primary starter for a specific position. But I don't think that's going to last long because she's a quality player. So as I said, yes, it's going to be a case of competition is fierce for her and whoever teammate she's competing against, but same goes the other way for those teammates there. They definitely have something to ponder over. So it's a give and take. Then you have to think of the adaptation, adapting to a new system, new environments. Yes, she is part of that Arsenal product, part of that Arsenal DNA, but much has changed from then till now. You know, there's some work there for her to do in terms of being able to adjust to the club and the manager's demands. That you're coming into a team there that is the current European champions. So, you know, she has to familiarize herself with usual stuff such as the tactical system there by Renee. It might be somewhat different to what she has experienced with Liverpool. So all of that could take some time there for her to fully integrate herself and understand the team's immediate playing styles. And she is what you want to call those blockbuster signings. There was so much being discussed about Taylor Hinds going back to Arsenal. I think she's a player there that all those clubs there in the WSL and elsewhere that would snap your hands off to sign there. So saying that to say you sign a player of her quality, her versatility. Former Liverpool vice captain, there comes the pressure and expectation. You know, moving to a club like Arsenal naturally is going to come with immense pressure, irrespective of. It's going to come with pressure to perform. As I said, she's joining up with a team that is the current European champions. They're the champions of Europe, where the Champions League's concerned. So the expectation from the fans, the media, and the club itself is different to playing for Liverpool. You know, you're playing for a team there in that right up there in the club announcement. I'm pretty sure it's my understanding from that that website piece is that they're going for it all. They're going for it all. You know, they want the WSL title. They want to clip Chelsea to the WSL title. I'm sure they're going to want to scoop up some domestic trophies as well. Wouldn't be surprised if it's all gone blazing in terms of winning it all. And Arsenal are not new to winning it all. They've done it before, and I'm sure there's an appetite there to want to do it again with this young crop of girls. So yeah, you've got the natural pressure and expectation, and we have to also ponder over the fact that she has left a leadership role with Liverpool, and she, again, where she was the vice captain. So while moving from a to a bigger club is obviously a step up in terms of the competition there. I think it's also maybe again, like I said, for the first part of her return there to Arsenal, that there's no guarantee that there will be a leadership role where she's a, let's say, a central figure to Arsenal. I think it might take some time to establish similar standing within the Arsenal squad. So and again, that's not something too much there for Hinds to worry about. I would say her teammates need to worry about that as well. But I think that leadership there that I touched on, I think that's something that has come natural for her. So is this a good move, bad deal? Do let me know in the comment section. I'm going to stick a pin in it and look at what you guys are saying there in the comment section. Let's see what you guys are saying. Big up yourself. Cranky, big up yourself. I hope you are okay. 49 and please tell them again, Cranky. I hope you're well. Please do make sure you subscribe to Cranky Live. Like the gentleman said, guys, go ahead and like up the stream. It is not going to cost you a penny. I'm not really sure why people hesitate on liking the streams. I never really understand that, but it is what it is. Yes, and that's another player that I thought of as well. That is another player there that I most certainly thought of. So but again, it's a competition is good. Competition, Arsenal people, them rushing. And we have a lot to be thankful for. I don't think anyone can burst our bubble. And while I am talking about the homecoming there, quite obviously, I'm just wondering if there's anything I've missed with Taylor Hinds. Oh, yes. I can't move on without reminding you all, in case you're wondering why she gone back to Arsenal. Look at that trophy cabinet there before I move on to my next transfer topic of conversation there. So look, but this is one of the reasons of many why she would have opted for a return to Arsenal instead of going elsewhere. European Women's Champions League winners 2 times. And this is what I'm talking about. Oh, okay. So this is what I'm talking about. This is what we're used to when we talk about Arsenal. Anita, Alex, Leanne, Rachel, diversity. That's what we're talking about. That's the Arsenal that we all knew and love. FA Women's Super League 3 times, FA Women's Premier League 12 times, FA Women's Cup winners 14 times, FA Women's League Cup winners 7 times, FA Women's Premier League Cup winners 10 times. See, diversity. The diversity there that we're talking about. FA Women's Community Shield winners 4 times plus 1, where they shared the trophy, and London County FA Women's Cup winners 10 times. So in case you're scratching your head and saying, why did she leave Liverpool? Quite simply, she's gone on to bigger and better things. Long may it continue. And I guess we can just segue and talk about another transfer there. Let's see if I can make the blue half of London happy. I'm going to try my best. Can't say that I will, but I will make you happy, but I should think I'm about to. Now, this transfer, which I am hoping you guys can see on the screen in front of you, we'll call it Becky with the safe hands. What's so funny about this one? Again, another homecoming. It says here Becky Spencer joins Chelsea permanently. We have a read of this club announcement there in front of you. I think this one kind of similar to other transfer deals there that we have discussed over the last couple of days and so. And I will reiterate what I have said. In life, go where you are wanted, not where you are tolerated, or in some cases go where you are appreciated and not, undervalued and so on. So similar to Taylor Hinds, I think this is a moment there to savor. I think it's no doubt a big deal, big signing. And what I find unique about Rebecca Spencer signing for Chelsea once more is I think it's an indication of her character. For a club of Chelsea's stature, or just for any club to sign you, then turn to you in an emergency, because we know that she was an emergency signing some months back. I think it might have been around March, if memory serves me well, when she made the then temporary move to Chelsea. So they've signed her once, signed her on an emergency loan, and then they've gone again and re-signed her on a permanent basis. So I don't think anyone can look at that one and say that's the agent picking up the phone and calling in a favor. I think it does speak volumes of her character as a person. I think that's a person there and a player with good trusted character, because like I said, that's a hat trick of times that they've turned to you and said, come on board. And I think the important focus in all of this is when they needed a goalkeeper due to an emergency crisis, they turned to our very own Rebecca Spencer. So I think if you don't know her, me personally, I don't know her, but I can kind of look at things from afar and say, okay, you must have some form of good trusted character for a club of like I said, any club, but since you're talking about Chelsea, a club that is demanding, a club that doesn't seem to want to let go of that WSL title. High honors, high praises for them to want to re-sign you, not more than once. It does, I think, speaks volume of your character. So I guess what we could do is stick a little pin in it, and we could go ahead and give this one a little read. Again, it says Becky Spencer joins Chelsea permanently. Experienced goalkeeper Becky Spencer will remain with Chelsea after making her loan move permanent. The goalkeeper spent the last 3 months of the 2024-2025 season with the Blues in a temporary switch from Tottenham Hotspurs, and has now completed a permanent transfer by signing a 1-year contract with Chelsea with an option to extend until 2027. Spencer, who had previously represented us in both 2016 and 2018, returned to West London last season to provide further cover for Hannah Hampton following an injury to Lifton and Musovic's pregnancy. And the Blues have decided to make the switch permanent ahead of the 2025-2026 campaign. Some quotes here from Becky. It says, I'm over the moon to be given the opportunity to stay at this magical club. It's somewhere which has always felt like home for me. So again, homecoming. We have amazing fans, and I look forward to coming back into this environment on a permanent basis and working alongside the great goalkeepers union we have. A Jamaican international, the 34-year-old was on the bench for all but 2 of our remaining 2024-2025 Women's Super League fixtures as we claimed the domestic treble. So again, a bit like her compatriot, her countrywoman, Taylor Hinds. This is a club where nothing in life is guaranteed, but you're in touching distance to securing silverware. We are really pleased to welcome Becky to the goalkeeping union permanently, said Paul Green, Chelsea's head of women's football. Her experience will provide cover and enable the young goalkeepers to pursue valuable development opportunities. She settled in well during her loan and is a great character. Yeah, again, great character to have in the group. We all have looked forward to working with her again next season. Welcome back, Becky. So again, as I said, it sometimes these things come down to your character. No one's going to want to keep you on board irrespective of your quality. Your character sometimes outweighs the quality of the person, not just where football is concerned, but just in life itself. So let me know if you guys think this one is a bring up back that headline there for you guys, good move or a bad deal. So let's start off with the positives there. You heard Becky there in her quote. Let me see if I can find that one for you guys. Where's her quotes. Okay, so let's just highlight this one right here. So she quite says there, quite clearly says there in black and white, she's returning to a magical club. And in terms of the positives in this is it's a homecoming, which means that she's in familiar surroundings, and by the sounds of it, it is a healthy environment, and that's important, especially when you're looking at women's football. She's had previous stays at the club, which was stated there in the announcement on the club's website, you know, and she has obviously expressed that it feels like home. So home is where the heart's at. Why wouldn't she want to go back to a place where she can hopefully find her feet, settle down, and get things cracking? Obviously elated to be rejoining Chelsea, so it seems like a good decision in that regard. I already touched on the emergency loan there. We spoke about the emergency loan back when, I think it might have been, like I said, if memory serves me well. I'm gonna go back up in this this website piece to see if it mentions it. It doesn't, but it does touch on how she came to re-signing for Chelsea again. She came in as to assist wherever cover to Hampton, Lifton, and Musovic, respectively. Big positive, and our positive in this is, moving on from the loan, is that the loan has been made permanent. So that does indicate that aside from her character, or in combination of her character, there's an indication there that she has impressed the club on all levels in such a short period of time. Clearly, she demonstrated her value to them. Not that she needed to do that, because they would have known that about her anyways. Previously, she played for them, and they only had to look, you know, across to North London to see what she has done with her former club. Tottenham, invaluable experience. So that means that it's excellent cover if in case they need to turn to her. You heard about Paul Green, I believe his name is, speaking about her invaluable experiences. And what that means is she's able to provide the necessary cover in their goalkeeping department if and when needs be. And similar to Taylor Hinds, she's going to a club that is competing on all fronts. You know, they're going to be going for those trophies again, the league title, domestic titles, and they're going to be going for Champions League. So they're going to be going for the WSL, the FA Cup, the League Cup, and also the Champions League. And they've been so close to the Champions League, over the recent years. Who knows? This season might be the season that they finally get that trophy in their back pocket, because I think that's what's missing from their trophy cabinet, isn't it? They want to say that they've won the Champions League. So speaking about Champions League and all those possibilities there, another positive is the trophy opportunities. You know, Chelsea is one of the most dominant football teams in the world, and they are a dominant force, most certainly, where the league is concerned. I don't really think I need to touch on their run of league titles, but they are definitely a dominant force, and I think this is something that will benefit Rebecca. She's not new to winning trophies. You know, she's been there, done that, but you can never say no to a trophy or a title. The more trophy and titles you manage to get under your belt, the better. And in terms of the club, I think the big positive there where the club is concerned is they have strengthened their goalkeeping union. They've got some reliable forces there to turn to in terms of when, if needs be. It might be a case of they go with a particular keeper for, let's say, the WSL games. Maybe for domestic cups like your FA Cup and your League Cup, they might turn to another keeper, and maybe for Champions League, they might just turn to another keeper as well. It might just be for Champions League and WSL is the same keeper, but you get where I'm going with this. It's a guaranteed contract, isn't it? So you can see there in the just above that paragraph there that it does say here, completed a permanent transfer by signing a 1-year contract with Chelsea with an option to extend until 2027. So at least she can have a little bit of a breather. 1-year contracts, as I said on my last live stream, it's not uncommon in women's football. It's more common than you know. But I should think because they do have that option for an additional year that it does provide her some feel of comfort. Nobody wants to be thinking in 1 year's time they're going to be jobless. Nobody wants that on their mind, whether you do the average 9 to 5 or whether you're a professional athlete. No one wants to be out of a job at the end of the day. So is this a good move or a bad deal? I think the flip side to the positives is you can't avoid the topic of conversation as it relates to guaranteed playing time. So while she is most certainly a invaluable cover, again, Becky with the safe hands, I don't think you can dispute her quality. It is likely that she, given Chelsea's extensive depth of quality there where goalkeepers are concerned, it is potentially likely that she'll serve as a backup goalkeeper, and that's not to insult her. It's just look at the selection that they have to choose. And I've said this on other live streams, like goalkeepers, if I were to play football, I don't think I would want to be a goalkeeper because you are fighting to be number one. You're fighting to be number one, and once that keeper solidifies the number one spot, you kind of not hope and pray. You hope and pray that a chance will be given to you, but you don't want it given to you in the worst way. Obviously, you don't want your teammate to pick up an injury and then you taking their spot. But saying that to say, we have she was brought in again, I think it was potentially around March of this year for an emergency reason to do with injury, and one of her teammates there going on maternity leave. So she was brought in initially for a specific circumstance, which can't be ignored, again, injury and pregnancy. So her role might, I'm not really sure what Chelsea have in store, but that might shift from regular starter but potential of being a regular starter elsewhere to maybe finding herself down in the pecking order as it relates to Chelsea's back goalkeeper selection. And with that, quite clearly, I think you should figure out that the competition, similar to Taylor Hinds' situation, competition is fierce, but I don't think she's a person that would back down from the competition. I'm sure she would have known this anyways before she decided to sign with Chelsea. Competition is fierce. It could, I think the only downside where we're concerned, and I say we, where Jamaica football, the Reggae Girlz is concerned, is that it could potentially lead her to fewer minutes on the pitch compared to if she were to go elsewhere, where she could potentially have been the number one goalkeeper. And I think only time will tell. Time will answer this one, most certainly, but only time will tell if this is a bad deal. Because we're in those we're in a World Cup preparation qualifying year. Right, towards the latter stages of the year, we're going to those all important World Cup qualifiers where the Reggae Girlz is concerned. And I am no footballer, but I should think that when you are again, merits for me, you have to be playing to get a call up. And that's not me drawing out the player. I just think fair is fair. Both where the Reggae Boyz and Reggae Girlz is concerned. I think that's the merit. If you want to talk about transparency, the merit is you're playing football. And you can debate on the competitiveness of the league and so on, etc. But for me, the most important thing, or one of the most important thing, is accumulating those minutes there. And I should think for a goalkeeper, getting minutes is essential. Different to your outfield players. But as a goalkeeper, you need to be playing regular football because you want to keep sharp. You want to be sharp. You want to be match fit. You don't want to get rusty. You know, we've seen the implication of being in such situation with one of our other keepers, Sydney Schneider. Thankfully, she seems to have been settled where her current team is concerned. But one of the issues there previously is that she just couldn't seem to just anchor that number one position with her previous clubs, and I believe that potentially had a knock-on effect on her not being able to truly challenge Becky for that number one spot where Jamaica is concerned, right? Because should any player play over a player that's getting those necessary minutes week in, week out? I don't think it's fair. But that just means that the head coach has potentially a difficult decision to make. So that for me will only answer itself in due course, you know, when we go back into the next international window. So again comes that she's probably won't need much of a adjustment period because she was on loan at with Chelsea some months back. But again, naturally she probably this is now different. This is now a permanent move as opposed to taking your I don't know, your little carry on over for a sleepover. No, now you're doing a house move. The carry-on's not going to work. You need to move everything and go. So it's a different type of settling in period, I should think, for Rebecca. But you know, as it relates to the players they mentioned, Isaac Hayden, Taylor Hinds, and Rebecca, best of luck to those players. I hope that they have a wonderful season and beyond with their respective clubs, and hopefully their career just continue to flourish. I can't remember how old Rebecca is. I probably said it in one of those. Let me go and see how old she is. See how old. So she's 34. But goalkeepers tend to have a longer shelf life than outfield players. Of course, nowadays we're seeing a change in that because players are taking better care of their bodies. But that's sometimes the elite of the elite, the greatest players of all time. Not all players take good care of their bodies. Saying that to say, even though she is 34 years old, with that 1-year contract and a contract extension, that's potentially 2 years there with the blue half of London. So she might be potentially leaving them at around 36, 37. It's not bad, is it? And again, you know, if she takes care of herself, she could even have one more big contract in her. We've seen it elsewhere with other keepers, you know, more so in the men's game and so on. So best of luck to her and her compatriots. So let me know with all of the deals there that we've touched on. Good move, bad deal. Let me know in the comment section. See what you guys are saying in the chat. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. One Becky, the best. She not that old, that good. No, she's not. She's only 34. Arsenal have always shown interest. Have shown its respect to the Jamaican and Caribbean community from the days Brandon Batson, 1971. They always signed players of Caribbean. Yeah, exactly. I mean, this signing of Taylor Hinds means more to me than the Jamaica inspired football jersey that Arsenal gave us some years back. So yes, you're right. Football selection should be about, I agree, but like I said, in terms of sorry, I'm not sure when you came into the live stream, but I think we're singing from the same hem sheet. In terms of the merit, I do agree that it should be part of the merit should be your minutes, whether you're playing week in, week out for your respective clubs. But we've seen with Jamaican football that it's a head scratcher. I don't really know how they do it, but it's a head scratcher, no doubt. But I do agree with you that you have to talk about merits and you have to talk about performance as well, not because of their background. So Nitro 69, big up yourself. I am so special, big up yourself. In London, it can take 2 to 3 years. In Jamaica, you can get your citizenship. You can get your passport same day or next day. 12 tribes of Israel, big up yourself. Yeah, Arsenal have always I'm just saying I'm happy to have Taylor Hinds at Arsenal. One Becky with the safe hands. She's a really good keeper. A lot of countries wish they could have her or someone like her. Yes, she is. I think, as I said, one thing you give the Jamaica scouting team credit for is their ability to find goalkeepers. They do a good job at that, so we have to give credit where credit is due. And goalkeeping position is that one position there that I'm not worried about. Where the Reggae Girls are concerned, let them fight it out. I'm not really worried about that one. She have about 4 to 5 years left. I know they are playing that girl a lot in the goal now. Okay, one Becky. Becky too good to be a backup. Well, she would have pondered over all of this with her agent representatives, so she must know why she made that move. Not sure that's a good move for Becky. Only time will tell. Only time will tell, She should be a starter somewhere. I agree, but we're not privy to certain things. So again, let's just see how this one pans out. The move might harm the Reggae Girls as she won't play many games at Chelsea. I don't think it's going to harm the Reggae Girls. If anything, for Becky, she's in a position where she's got competition from all angles. She got competition at Chelsea. She got competition where the Reggae Girls are concerned. I think Leah Brooks, of all the positions there where the question was answered, I think she's probably the one for me that stands out the tallest. Can you step up in the absence of the number one goalkeeper, Rebecca Spencer? The answer is yes, irrespective of the goals that flew past her. Some of those goals she could do nothing about that, and we had a piss poor performance. So that's not really on Leah Brooks. That's more of a collective issue, a coaching issue. But I think for me, Leah Brooks definitely stood up to the plate. And she answered the all important question. Yes, the head coach Busby can rely upon her. She can give Becky something to ponder over, and that's why I say with the Reggae Girls of their goalkeeper situation, good luck to them. I'm going to enjoy watching this one unfold. Gavin says similar with Hinds. Think you might have to tidy this one up. I'm not really sure what you mean by that. Becky gonna be third choice at Chelsea. Big up yourself, Irie Vibes. Big up yourself, Gavin. Hope you're well. Rochelle, big up yourself. It's a good look, like a good move, but I don't know. I'm afraid she won't be played. Hampton plays every single game. DC, big up yourself. The writing, the comment is so small for some reason. I'm not sure why. All of a sudden, I'm going to have to look to my right because I can't see on the screen clearly. And I'm not trying to strain my eyes. It says here somehow I'm not sure Becky would stay back up. She's that good. She may end up snatching a more prominent role. She have to go where she's wanted. Exactly, she go where she's wanted, I Vibes Hinds move is a good step in her career. Oh, Taylor Hinds. Okay. Irie Vibe says, if Becky isn't getting playing time, can she really be Reggae Girl's first choice? That's a question for Busby, to be honest with you. That's a question for Busby because look, it's nothing personal against any player, but I'll always stand on to get a call up is one thing outside of not being able to register those all important minutes. But I should think to start, you need to have minutes in your bag, because if you don't have minutes in your locker, then it could spell trouble. You don't want to be rusty, you want to be match fit. It's a sentiment that I share for the men's and the women's team, and it's nothing personal. It's just that I think that so I'm going to say, I just think that that's just the way that I would do things. That's just the way that I would do things there. So yeah, I don't know what the head coach has in store, but as I said, this one should answer that all important question there, right? Yeah, I think that one should answer that all important question. Respectively, Becky a level above the other Reggae Girls keepers. Good news about the Reggae Girl also. I'm good. How are you? Yeah, I mean, she's number one for a reason, isn't she? But what is the point in asking a player to show you what they are made of if you're not going to be giving them a fair chance to anchor a position if they have shown you exactly what they're made of? And subsequently, so let's say Leah Brooks is playing week in, week out for her team, right? Let's say she's playing week in, week out for her team. We've seen what she's capable of in the absence there of Becky. Let's say that Becky, between now and the World Cup qualifying window, isn't getting minutes at Chelsea. Are you then saying that Busby should start her over Leah Brooks simply because you then, when a manager makes a decision like that, you're setting a dangerous precedent. In my opinion, you're sending the wrong message to the team, because other players are going to be looking and saying, what's going on here? You know, other players are going to be looking and saying, okay, if it works for her, then it should work for me. Naturally, they're human beings. That's how they're going to be looking at things. So I think that Leah Brooks did well. I think she, of all the players there where they had the opportunity to say, hey, look, in the absence of this person, in the absence of that person, I can hold my own. I think Leah Brooks answered that question. I don't think so. Becky miles away from every keeper we have, says Conrad. Johnny Powell, big up yourself. Which team she play for? If you're having a rough time, I'm having a rough time from, I don't know, why is that? Why is that? Why are you having a rough time? I'll go ahead and I'm gonna try to see if I can make this make this comment a little bit bigger. Let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Struggling to like read first I had a low blood. I can't see. To figure out how to turn this why is my thing so okay? Oh, what the hell did I just do? Can you guys see me? Okay, I'm not gonna mess around with that. I think you probably need to get some rest. Yes, she does. She's a future. As I was saying, I think it's good competition for Becky. Either which way you look at it, both clubs and country, there's plenty there to think about. But I'm not going to budge. I'm still going to stick by my guns. For you to getting a call up is one thing, but I should think for you to be starting. If you don't want to seem as if you've got favorites, and if you don't want to set a dangerous precedent, you have to be playing. I say it for the men's team. I respect the women's game, and I'm going to hold them to the same standard as the men's team. I'm going to hold them. I'm going to make sure that equality in the way that I view them and support them is the same. So sorry. She has to they both have to well, yeah, she has to be getting those minutes. I might have to. I think just tonight, the writing it's just on the screen. Your comments look very small tonight for some reason. But yeah, I might have to let me go over to here because I can't read that. Big up Crystal mentioned. Big up yourself, Gavin. Gavin says, I mentioned Taylor Hinds because she will have strong competition with other left back. I just hope that she is given plenty of games for Arsenal. Like I said, you know what? That's for them to worry about. That's the Arsenal players to worry about. She's a great talent. So that's for them to worry about. But that's great. You know, we want our girls playing in teams, in leagues that's competitive, and we want them around world-class players because it will only make them better. So, you know, Becky's situation and Heinz' situation, I think there is good in that. I think it will benefit them in the long run. I don't think it's something for us to like be concerned about. But do let me know if these are good moves, bad deals. I've got a couple more minutes with you guys. Throw some questions at me before I close up. More importantly, let me know if you guys have enjoyed my transfer talks. Are you guys enjoying these good moves, bad deals? Let me know so I can figure out if I should continue to give you guys more of the same. So yeah, give me some questions before I close off on the stream. One Donaldson says, Conrad, I'm excited for both. Wow, I cannot read that at all. Someone said I should get my eye. I think it's I revised, so I should get my eyes tested. I might have to do so. You know, I'm straining my eyes. Keep the questions coming though. Let me see. I'm excited for both Reggae Girls because they are in two good teams and can be first team players after fully settled into their systems. True. So Gavin says he's enjoying the transfer talk. Okay. To be honest with you, I enjoy it as well. I have another content idea in mind. But I think it's probably going to take me a string of weeks to deliver it. In terms of when I start it, it's going to be a continuation. It's going to probably take me, depending on how I choose to deliver it, maybe between, I'm not going to give it away. But I think it's something that will take me a number of weeks to complete. So yeah, I got a couple more minutes with you guys. Throw some questions at me. What time is it? It's almost 1 a.m. I am starving. I am absolutely starving. No questions. If you don't have no questions, I'm going to have to love you and leave you. So do let me know if you have any questions there for me. You might have to watch this one back on replay. We've already spoken about Isaac Hayden, Taylor Hinds, as well as Rebecca Spencer. If you're watching this one back on replay, do let me know if these moves are good moves or bad deals. So no more questions. I think I might have highlighted everyone's comments. Patrick Riley, I'm not sure if Patrick Riley, I'm sorry, I just saw your comment. Patrick says Jamaica have a pipe dream, not serious when it comes to football. Anything you do is top notch. It's always good when you know your stuff and also fully do your research before. So it's always fun. Thank you very much. At least you guys are appreciative. Massive thank you to those of you who have hit the like button, by the way. Big up to you guys. As someone with eye issues, it's just that I don't know what it is. I think hold on. Oh, I figured it out. Okay, so my streaming platform, there was a message in front of me and I didn't know. And what had happened was because of the message, it made my screen smaller. So my screen was like way, way further away from me. And I've just one mind just said click on the X, and I just clicked on the X, and it's just brought the message back up on my screen in front of me because I was straining my eyes. All right, so yeah, I don't think I need to get it checked. But thank you. It says as someone with eye issues myself, I advise you to get your eyes checked. But yeah, I was wondering why am I struggling to YouTube always message with the font size on the app. Yeah, I was like, I think this is more of my streaming app, though. I think this is more of my streaming app. So I have a question with you. Haha, wow. I don't think it's coming home. Should we look at some Euro stuff before we close up? I don't think it's coming home, my friend. I think Spain will win it. I think this is going to Spain. Let's go ahead and segue. Look at some Euros talk. I mean, you guys have seen this one, isn't it? Read some of those results there for you guys. In match day 1, Iceland lost. That was 10-player. Iceland lost to Finland. Switzerland lost 2-1 to Norway. That's not how you want to kickstart the Euros there, is it? Definitely not how you want to kickstart the Euros. So they have started off on the back foot. Hopefully let me go down and get up the rest of those results there. Bit of a shame there because it's obviously hosted by Switzerland. So let's go ahead and go through the rest of that results there. Italy beating Belgium 1-0. Spain thrashing Portugal 5-0. Denmark losing 1-0 to Sweden. Germany beating Poland 2-0. Netherlands securing a 3-0 victory over Wales. England losing 2-1 to France. In match day 2, we saw Norway lost 1-0 to Finland. Switzerland picked up their first win, 2-0 over Iceland. And Spain gave Belgium an absolute battering, 6-2. So look at Spain. Look at them. 5 goals in match day 1, 6 goals in match day 2. Portugal and Italy finished 1-0 apiece. Portugal with a red card. And later on, I say later on because I'm into my Tuesday. Tuesday, you've got a couple more games coming up. Germany taking on Denmark. Poland take on Sweden. England take on the Netherlands. And France take on Wales. And that is how we're looking. But I feel that it's going to be Spain, isn't it? It's going to be Spain. The good thing about these transfers is no one knows how it will go at a new club, not even the player. Exactly. You can't just guarantee that. That's what I'm saying. Only time will tell. Only time will tell. So over on my X account, I put out a tweet. You guys want to see the tweet? Yeah, I'm going to show you guys my tweets. This one here, I saw something that, up yourself, Mayowa Quadri. So he tweeted on June 11th, right? June 11th, he tweeted, Taylor Hinds to Arsenal, make it happen. I'm not sure why he was asking for this because, well, maybe I am sure. Not so much. He's a Chelsea fan, so I could only assume the reason, and it's probably to do with maybe diversity. He said Taylor Hinds to Arsenal, make it happen. So today I tweeted his original tweet, Bunny Shaw to Arsenal, make it happen. What do you guys think? Do you think we can see a Bunny Shaw to Arsenal? Let me know in the comment section before I close off. Honestly, Spain is doing something special in their football. So yeah, what we're saying, Bunny Shaw to Arsenal, Yard Gunner, big up yourself. He said no. Me and him were having a bit of a conversation earlier on. Big up yourself, Doc. So I'm saying send Beth Mead in the opposite direction. Show you guys how this conversation went. You can't really see the other person's comment. I'm not really sure why that is, but do let me know if you see this one happening. I know a couple of you Chelsea you Man City fans don't want it to happen. Bunny Shaw to Arsenal, make it happen. City wouldn't sell to a rival. Does City have a choice? Arsenal's got a different knock. Different knock. I'll say send Beth Mead to City. Send Bunny in the opposite direction. I said Bunny does need to leave City. Yeah, I do think so. Yeah. I think if she wants to leave, then you let her leave. But she's probably all right. I don't know. So that is where I am landing with tonight's show. I think you guys are done with me. I'll maybe give you guys some 2 more minutes. I'd love you guys to watch this one back on replay in your own time. As I said, I'm enjoying these transfer talks with you guys, so I'm going to continue giving you guys your transfer roundup. See what you guys are saying. Bunny is too good to not be playing Champions League football. I don't even think it's just that. It's that she needs major honors, doesn't she? She needs, and Chelsea, to be fair, City have been close in trying to eclipse Chelsea of the WSL title, but 2 seasons of trot, they've had a deja vu finish. Injuries plagued them in the latter stages of last year in the final run-in, and Chelsea ran away with it. Shaw is poorly used at City, and this is coming from a Man City fan, so it's the coach that should have left years ago. I did say this about her coach a while back. Hopefully Leon or Barcelona come in for Bunny. You don't want her at Arsenal. You don't want her at Arsenal. City manager was terrible. I'm glad he is gone. I think we all had an issue with the City manager, Gareth, right? I think we all had an issue with him. But that's how I'm feeling, you know. Bunny Shaw to Arsenal. Let's see how this season pans out. Maybe she might pick up some silverware. Maybe this is the season here where she'll pick up silverware. I think with Man City, she won the League Cup. And that was a few seasons ago. So aside from that, she's obviously won those individual accolades. You know, golden boots, so on. Sadly, I want Shaw to stay, but if she leaves, I will support her anyways because I will miss her at my club. But Arsenal already have Russell. Yeah. Do we want to talk about squad depth and quality? Look at a couple of the greatest teams of all time. Look at the classic Barcelona, classic Real Madrid. That's Russo's problem. If Bunnish came to Arsenal, that is Russo's problem, not Bunny's. That's all I'm saying. So if she came to Arsenal, she don't need to worry. She's good. Didn't Arsenal fans? I can't tell you if it was Arsenal fans, but it was during a game between Arsenal and Manchester City. I don't know where the abuse came from. I don't know if it's from Arsenal. I don't know if it's from neutral fan, because I don't think any reports said which set of fan abused her. But the what you're referring to came from a game against Arsenal. Her ceiling was always high at City, but the coach ruined her earlier time there. I do remember that young striker is coming through at Arsenal. I still say you can push a player out. I still think you can push a player out. I still think you can push a player and send them to Manchester City. I think you're talking about Michelle. And of course, I'm happy for Michelle as well. You know, diversity, representation. It's a good player as well. Oh, yes, I knew it. You're talking about Michelle. Yeah. There's room to push a player out. Come on, Ira Vibes. Come on. Work with me. Work with me. I think I am done. I think I'm done, guys. I think I am done. Unless you guys have some more things to discuss. Unless you have some more things to discuss. If Arsenal, if it happens, I will cheer for her still, but not for. Hopefully it happens. Thank you. I wish Bunny would have joined United when we need an uplift. I don't know if she would. Well, never say never in football, but I can see since she probably have enough people around her who would encourage her to sign for United. I believe if I'm not mistaken, she grew up as a United fan anyway, so there lies a connection. So guys, thank you so much for blessing me with a moment of your time. We've been speaking for almost 2 hours. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's show. Looked at the latest done deals there where Reggae Boyz and Reggae Girlz concerned. Looked at Isaac Hayden. Also looked at Taylor Hinds and Rebecca Spencer respectively. Best of luck to all those players. I'm going to have to love you and leave you. Don't want to see Shaw on that side of the red. If you haven't hit the like button, what are you waiting on? Go ahead and kindly hit that like button. I'm hungry, so I'm going to make my way to the kitchen. Don't judge. Please do remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you're making your way home from work, I do hope that you walk through your doors safely and unharmed, because doing so is an underrated blessing. And I shall see you on my next live stream. You know how it goes. Until next time, take care.
I'm John Barnes, and you're watching Tallawah TV with Crystal Davis.